ሰላም ሰላም እንዴት ናችሁ ውድ ተመልካቾቻችን welcome to the Dink ምሽት show ይሄኛው show it's about meeting incredible people amazing people that are doing great things እና በሁለቱም ቋንቋ ነው የምናወራው if you do not like that እሱ ማይመቻችሁ ከሆነ this is not the show for you we are Ethiopians we're bilingual ስለዚህ በተለያየ ቋንቋ ነው የምናወራው mainly English and Amharic ስለዚህ ይሄ ነገር ቅር እንዳይላችሁ ቅር የሚላችሁ ከሆነ ደግሞ this is probably the point where you change the channel. Anyway, today's guest, በጣም ትልቅ እንግዳ ይዤ መጥቻለሁ. He is one of the most prominent film directors in Ethiopia. He's an Ethiopian filmmaker, but at the same time, international filmmaker. No, አንድ የምናውቀው ስም አለ, ታላቅ የሆነ ሰውዬ እና ሁላችሁም ታውቁታላችሁ ብዬ አስባለሁ. because በብዛት ስለሱ ነው የሚወራው ኃይሌ ገሪማ ይባላል but because ከተለያየ ኢንተርናሽናል ፊልሜክ ታሪኮች ሰርቷል ከትልልቅ አክተሮች ጋር ሰርቷል but many of you might not know we have another young but talented filmmaker who is really disrupting the film and storytelling industry in Ethiopia and all around the world. He recently did a movie, probably አይታችሁት ላይሆን ይችላል or አይታችሁታል Sweetness in the Belly with በጣም ትልልቅ አክተሮች for example you might know Dakota Fanning ሌላ ደግሞ በጣም የታወቀ አክተር ያየ አብዱል መቲን who is an incredible ትልቅ አክተር ነው you probably know him from በቅርብ ያወጣው ፊልም probably Hollywood blockbuster የሚባል Ambulance የሚባል movie directed by Michael Bay እዛ ላይም ነበረ as almost a lead role so የዛሬ እንግዳችን director እሱንም direct አድርጎታል and I'm so excited to have him here because ታውቃላችሁ እኔም ፊልም ላይ በጣም passion አለኝ ቅርብ ጓደኛዬ ነው and to have him on this late night show in a very relaxed setting I'm so excited we're going to talk about ብዙ ነገር እንነጋገራለን we're going to have a lot of fun so ladies and gentlemen please help me welcome the one and only Zeresenay Mehari film director put your hands together guys my man I hope I did the introduction justice. Yeah, Dave. How you doing?
I'm all right, man.
Yeah? You good? Welcome to the Dink Mishit or Dink Late Night Show.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. Jolie and yalle, no?
I remember this place very well.
We had
many stories here.
Many memories.
Many New Year Eve parties. Yeah.
Crazy parties. Yeah. I've always said Jolie is one of those places where great minds come together and they meet, have a couple of drinks and discuss what they're doing, what's going on, who they are, So that's what it is. So the first thing I want to do is offer you a drink.
I'll love one.
Yeah? Perfect. This is an exquisite drink. ቅመሳትና ተወዳታለህ ብዬ አስባለሁ So Z, man, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah, since college
days.
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Yeah. We both went to film school.
Yeah.
And we knew each other then. We were very close. We worked together. Cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Welcome to the show. What do you think?
It's great.
Yeah?
It's great.
Your name, Zeresenay Mehari.
Zeresenay Birhane Mehari.
Yeah. We call you Z in short.
Yeah.
So please introduce yourself to the audience. You're one of the most prominent filmmakers, probably a lot of Ethiopians have not heard of. You know what I mean?
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right,
you are known internationally. You're doing a lot of things. But locally, because you don't work in the local sort of, you've done different, but to me, and I recently, what's your favorite Ethiopian movie? And I thought about it, I said different. You know what I mean? And I was very surprised because not a lot of Ethiopians have seen it.
Right. No, I mean, እዚህ አልታየም በደንብ ዘረሰናይ ብርሃኔ መሐሪ ይባላለው የፊልም ጸሐፊና ዳይሬክተር ነኝ
You are one of the few filmmakers and storytellers that I know. You direct, you shoot your own, you shoot on film, you shoot on digital, you direct, and you're an awesome director. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
But you're never in front of the camera a lot of times.
I hate being in front of the camera. But I mean, but ጀግኖች ናቸው ካሜራ ላይ you're good at this, you know what I mean? Like, አንተ የምታደርገውን ነገር ማድረግ አልችልም. But I've always been interested in telling stories, right? So, and then ልጅ እያለሁ I was like 6 years old. ሰፈራችን ፎቶ ቤት ነበርና I started going there just to see how they do photography. And now ሰዎቹ ማቀረቡኝ and then I started taking pictures. So ከትምህርት ቤት መጥቼ you know እግር ኳስ is my passion, is my love, my first love. I played semi-pro እዚህም ከመሄዴ በፊት ወደ አሜሪካ ከመሄዴ በፊት ተጫውቻለሁ እዚህና but photography was really really interesting to me, like to be able to capture something and then the process የወደድኩት ትልቁ ነገር እሱ ነው. So ከዛ በኋላ ፊልም ቤት ስገባ I kind of knew a little bit about it. ገባህ አይደለም እንዴት ፕሮሰሱ እንትን እንደሆነ. Then I got really curious. ፎቶግራፍ ይሄን ያህል ጊዜ ፈጅቶ እንደዚህ ምናምን ከሆነ then what about films? Like how would they do that? As a small child I didn't know a lot about it, but I you know ሰፈሬ ሀብተ ጊዮርጊስ ድልድይ ያደግኩበት within like couple of miles 3-4 ፊልም ቤቶች ነበሩ. ሲኒማ ራስ፣ ሲኒማ ኢትዮጵያ፣ አምፔር፣ ሲኒማ አዲስ ከተማ, right? And so it became a thing. More and more ያኔ እንግዲህ ደግሞ እንግሊዝኛ በደንብ አንችልም, በእንግሊዝኛም ፊልም አልነበረም. I don't want to date myself, but ያኔ የህንድ ፊልም ነው በብዛት የሚታየው. There's kung fu Chinese films, and then የሶቪየት ፕሮፓጋንዳ ፊልሞች ነበሩ like the Red Army ምናምን ምናምን
ሁሉንም ታይ ነበረ all these movies.
ቋንቋውን ሳናውቅ we literally ከተወሰነ ጊዜ በኋላ ሰፈር ወይ ደግሞ ትምህርት ቤት ስትሄድ ታሪኩን መናገር ያየሁትን ነገር ሳመራይዝ አድርጌ ኢንትረስቲንግ በሆነ መንገድ ምናምን መናገሩ, right? And then ከዛ በኋላ I start reading you know poems የጸጋዬ ገብረመድህን የመንግስቱ ለማ ምናምን እነዚህ ደግሞ they were very visual writers እነሱ አዲስ አለማየሁ. And ወደ አሜሪካን ሀገር ሲሄድ እድሉን አግኝቼ ሲሄድ I knew exactly what I wanted to do. film ትምህርት ቤት ነው መማር የፈለኩት, right? I wanted to be a filmmaker. And I got lucky. You know, I went to USC and I learned pretty much everything there. So I had all the you know በ19 ዓመት 20 ዓመት ልጅ I actually was very developed in terms of the technology, in terms of storytelling. So you know when we did my first film, you produced it.
Yes, we worked on
Coda, yeah.
But I want to go back, and I don't want to downplay this for the audience. USC, University of Southern California.
Right.
Let's talk about that. That is the best school. But America ውስጥ አንደኛ,
you could say in the world, like
in the world,
yeah, like a lot of amazing people. Christopher Nolan came out of there. Ron Howard came out of there. Robert Zemeckis came out of there.
ስለዚህ አንተ አንደኛ የፊልም ትምህርት ቤት ከዛ ነው የተመረከው?
ስም አለው like ሃሊውድ ውስጥ አብዛኞቹ ሰዎች የሚሰሩ ሰዎች they either went there or NYU ምናምን የተማሩት እና USC ማፊያ ይባላል. Like so I always wanted to make a film that says something about me as an Ethiopian. So different was that. So Coda was like something that I did about music, and I love music,
which you fired me from.
You know, Bobby, his you know larger than life. Even back then you were.
Was I good? I was very low key back then.
Not really low key, but like you were. I know who you were, but I did not know you were going to Chapman at that time. And then Abasha Safar Tagananyen, you know, I met Brooke and I met Alula. You know, they came to actually USC. We met outside of USC at a Starbucks.
To meet you?
They told me, yes. Yeah, because they didn't know who I was. Because I'm like, okay, guys, I'm doing my thesis film right now. I'm developing it. But I'll come and check it out, right? So a couple of days later, like I came and then I helped out a little bit with camera. And then ከዛ በኋላ ግን ፊልሙ ወጥቶ ዲሲ እግር ኳስ ጨዋታ ላይ ሲመረቅ I was part of it. ከነሱ ጋር ሆኜ I was helping them promote ለማድረግ እንትን እያልኩኝ ነበረ. And
so that's when we met. ተዋወቅን.
And then if you remember, you could also use your school's equipment.
Exactly.
We got
you got some stuff
lights and stuff like that from Chapman.
From that I borrowed from JS. Yes, I rented or whatever. Yeah.
So the story is this. So
we started
Bobby being like this producer, ምናምን እና ቡናውን ይዞ Starbucks ቡናውን ይዞ እኛ like 4 a.m. in the morning ጀምረን 9 o'clock ይመጣል ምናምን and then but Bobby የተባረረበት ምክንያት from the set is you couldn't get along with the one person who's like running the show.
And you were put in a very
I know because I can't lose her. Yeah, actually, we shot in downtown Los Angeles in an abandoned building with some crackheads and all that stuff.
I remember.
We were carrying stuff. We shot at night, and then so I had to let you go because we call my
But it was good times,
we made it fun though. We made it fun.
We made it fun.
So remember with the launch, we did it at a club in Hollywood.
Oh man. I remember that people had never seen a party like that.
No, it was a massive party.
But in the middle of Hollywood. Hollywood and Vine.
Hollywood and Vine, yeah, I'm coming.
ትልቅ ቦታ ተከራይተን because we were raising money for the film, me, you, and Acrosia. Right? And
if you remember on the film, one of the characters is a mural because Andre Royo's character was a painter.
You know, Z? You dream, but ህልምህ ትልቅ ነው.
Right.
ፊልም ካልሆነ 35 ካልሆነ እንደዚህ ካልሆነ
people thought I was crazy to shoot film in this. You know what I mean? So we brought Panavision cameras out here.
What makes you ለምንድን ነው እንደዚህ የምታልመው?
I've always been a dreamer, you know what I mean? And I've always thought I'm capable of doing, whatever you consider big things, because I have the background and then I'm very tenacious. I could and stubborn at times. You kind of need to be, I think, if you're a film director, and you have to know what you want, right? I knew that I needed to capture Ethiopia because I wanted this film to go internationally first, even before releasing it in Ethiopia. So to go there, you need to have all those things.
Talking about crossing over, Z, not only did you cross over, but you got the attention of someone huge.
Angelina Jolie.
Films like these are so important to continue to support and to make, as they help us all to push the art of filmmaking forward and shed light on untold stories about Ethiopia and beyond.
And it's actually a funny story how that came about. Julie Moretu was our executive producer, our first investor in the film. And when things connect, man, they do. So Angelina's agent is a big collector of art. And one of the people that he collects art from is Julie. And I get a phone call and then it's like, hey, hi, Z, this is Angelina Jolie. I'm like, I hang up the phone on her.
No.
Yeah. You didn't. It was pranking me. You know what I mean? I did not expect.
Really? That is so cool.
She's gonna see it. I wasn't that confident about the film. I know it was a good film, but I didn't know how, because we haven't had, a screening. Right. Even we haven't done a test screening yet.
Right.
So we have zero idea, except that myself, Marat, and my editor. No one has seen this thing, because I'm unknown. Gana የመጀመሪያ ፊልሜ ነው. So I'm a no-name director who made a film. So she helped us a great deal.
I was involved in the release of Difrat here.
Right.
You know what I mean? We had a party. We were at ብሔራዊ ቲያትር. Hearing about it, I was one of those people. እውነቴን ነው የምነግርህ ያልደነገጠ ሰው የለም. Angelina Jolie. Like I figured if anyone could do this, and this is real, it's Z. No, for real.
That's what Acrosia said too.
I swear to you.
Yeah.
You are the sort of the example of like barasa different. Right.
Yeah.
No, honestly.
I've always had that.
You've always I've seen you. I've hung out with you. I've gone to places with you. Before I go into something else, let's stick with Difret. Very short. What is Difret about? What do you like? You tackled it on. You've been writing this. You know about the true story. ለማያውቁ ሰዎች ግን Difret ታሪኩ የእውነት it's based on a true story. You took someone's real life.
Yep.
I know we'll talk about why it was controversial. What's the story about?
Difret is a story about a 13-year-old girl who was abducted for marriage, and she, in an attempt to go back to her family, she kills the person who abducted and raped her. She was arrested for murder, and then she was acquitted on the basis of self-defense.
I do believe this is how societies change through stories.
Right.
Really, like they impact us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was a story that impacted a lot of people. But konjo story, ደስ የሚል. You told it so well.
Ethiopia is a country with over 90 million population, and a country with a long history, very rich culture, and unfortunately some of the traditional practices and norms affect women negatively, and the practice of talafa, which is abducting girls for marriage, is one of the harmful practices that affect the physical and mental as well as social, economic lives of women in Ethiopia.
So we heard Zeresenay Mehari film ሰርቶ መጣ ተባለ። አንጀሊና ጆሊ ፕሮዲውስ አደረገችው ተባለ። ብዙ ነገር. When you told me about this, we even እዛ ላይ ጆሊ at that time የሆነ ትንሽ ስፖንሰርሺፕ አድርጎ ነበረ ምናምን ብሔራዊ ቲያትር ብዙ እንግዶች ተጠሩ። በጣም we were all excited. I'll never forget that day. Is ልክ ሊጀመር ሲል አንጀሊና ጆሊ popped up.
She was supposed to come, but she was doing press for her own film, which was Unbroken, so she couldn't be able to be here.
She couldn't, and she said that on the message. She's like, guys, I'm so sorry. I hope you enjoy this movie. It's a beautiful movie. It's a universal story. This is what changes humanity. Message right? And it was beautiful. 2 minutes into the film, it gets shut down, right? And I know my disappointment and everyone's disappointment. I can only imagine Yante's disappointment, Meret's disappointment. What was that about? What happened? What was going through your mind?
Because it was a very public trial. It was on television, it was on radio, and even the judge that basically gave Abarasha freedom wrote that, this needs to be broadcasted, because እሱም ገብቶታል like ማስተማሪያ ሊሆን እንደሚችል ታሪኩ at that time. So when you find stories like this, you have to make sure first, okay, ይሄ ታሪክ አንደኛ ባለቤቱ ማን ነው? የማንን ታሪክ ነው የምትናገረው? And then ከዛ በኋላ መስራት ስትፈልግ ሰዎቹን ትፈልጋቸዋለህ. So the story is about actually like a lawyer that basically did this, like
rescued this girl, saved her, basically.
And now, and then in the way that I wanted to tell the story, I actually went from on the left side, which is like getting to know the organization, getting to know Maaza, and tell the story through Maaza's work. So it's mainly about Maaza and her work. This is one of the cases that she did. So what the closure came was when she heard that there was a film made about her. She came and told me that, you cannot do this. I did not give you permission to make a film about me. So it was unfortunate that we could have talked about it and resolved the issue that was between us. But her and someone else that I was advising her chose to basically stop the inauguration of the film.
ፖሊሶች መጥተው ይሄ ፊልም በፍርድ ቤት ታግዷል ብለው ከዚህ በፊት የደረሰን ምንም ነገር የለም፣ ህጋዊ ያልሆነ ነገር ምንም ያደረግነው ነገር የለም እና አሁን የእናንተን አክብሮት ለመጠበቅ ስንል እነሱ እዚህ መጥተው እንትን ከማለታቸው በፊት ፊልሙን አጥፍተን ሌላ ጊዜ ይሄን ነገር ሶልቭ ካደረግን በኋላ እንገናኛለን። በጣም ይቅርታ አድርጉልኝ። Hold on one second. Distinguished guests, ambassadors, it's really embarrassing. We were just told by the police that we have to stop this film because there's a court order on it. We have not been informed prior to this. The Ministry of Culture knows about this. The government knows about this, and this is the first time we're hearing it. This is obviously an attack on us, and I'm really sorry for this to happen. And I hope we're going to see you again, and you'll be able to finish this film. I guarantee you that.
There was massive debate. I don't know if you've heard. Right after that happened, the next day was on the radio, was on social media. People were talking about it, and
I mean, I heard, I don't know what kind of debates, but we heard the news. The movie was so universally positive, so positive for women, for our society, how to change, how to be progressive.
Right. She didn't even get to see it before this happened. ያ ነገር ከሆነ በኋላ ሽማግሌዎች አገናኙን. We got to talk about it, and I told her like this was my intention ከመጀመሪያው ጀምሮ, that for you to be part of it because you're a hero. You need to be a hero. People need to know about you. So ድፍረት የመጣው ከዛ ነው, right? So the act of somebody being violated is መደፈር አይደለ?
Which was, let's be real, very a normal practice.
Right.
Most people እዚህ ገና developed ያልሆነ ሀገር ህንፃ ይመስላችኋል፣ ምን ይመስላችኋል፣ ግን አይደለም. Our stories define a society.
Absolutely. And we have to tell our own stories. የራሳችን ታሪክ በሌላ ሰው ሊነገር አይገባው. Right? So narrative, a story, that's a window to a society. That's a window to tradition, a window to heroism that we have, the way that, you know, we existed in this world. So, and an Ethiopian filmmaker who is telling a story about Ethiopia.
Honestly, Difret, in a lot of ways, was a success. In a lot of ways.
I believe so.
በዛን ሰዓት, you know, whether it's misinformation, closed-mindedness, ምናምን ያ ነገር ተፈጠረ, እንዲዘጋ አረጉት. ግን I'm sure there's a lot of people, the mentality slowly is changing, and I'm sure there's a lot of people ምን አስበን ነው እንደዚህ ያደረግነው በፌደራል ማዘጋት ምናምን, you know, but አለፈ. But for you, that opened doors.
Absolutely.
በጣም ብዙ የሚያስገርም. I loved ድፍረት. ከዛ ቀጥሎ ደግሞ I found out that you were directing a movie, የሰራው film. It's incredible, and I want you to talk about that, because some of the biggest actors working today in Hollywood, you directed them.
Right.
Right after Different. So tell us the film, what is the book and everything, and who's involved, and how did that come about?
Funny enough, አሁን አንተ እንዳልከው ድፍረት በጣም ብዙ በር ከፍቶልኛል ለኔ ለኢትዮጵያ ፊልምም, right? እና actually, these producers came up to me at Berlin while I'm showing Different.
Berlin Film Festival.
Berlin Film Festival.
They were moved by your movie.
I thought they loved it, and then they had a script, and they were looking for a director.
And from what I know, they said the director had to be African.
Ethiopian.
Oh, they specifically even Ethiopian.
Yes, they wanted it, an Ethiopian director, because
what I heard was, I could be wrong. You could. African, and from all African filmmakers, they chose Zeresenay.
So they were looking for an African filmmaker, yes, but then again, they did not know that we had Ethiopian directors too that were doing stuff. So they were in Berlin Film Festival for something different. So they saw on the schedule that የኢትዮጵያ film different የሚባል, it's actually in competition.
Because
at the festival.
There's the story also there takes place in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
They never imagined there could be a talented filmmaker.
Right.
They're usually from South Africa or from Morocco or from
right.
Intin. So they're like, let's check this film out.
So ሄደው አዩት ፊልሙን ልክ ፊልሙን እንደጨረሱ I was doing press in this hotel and then they approached me and then they said like loved your film and we've been looking for a director because it takes place in Ethiopia. The story is written by...
So tell us about the title, the story, because I didn't talk about that. The title, the story, and who's in it.
Yeah. So Sweetness in the Belly is an award-winning book written by Camilla Gibb, Canadian writer. But it was a very compelling story about traditions, culture, religion, belief, and love.
You've done different in a certain way, and it was beautiful. Are they letting you be, or are they like holding you back?
That's the drawback, right? When you don't have complete control of the film. Meaning, on Different, I had complete control of the film, right? I was producer, I was the writer, I was the director.
Anything goes.
Yeah, so it's basically it's completely my vision. When you get hired as a director, it's a different thing, right? Now the producers have control. And so we went through a list of other actors.
Yeah.
And I suggested, what about Dakota?
Oh,
and then
really?
they were like, oh, we didn't think about her.
He's like, I just suggested Dakota.
Hey, they're producers. They're big producers. They can get that. You know what I mean? Again.
Why Dakota?
She's just an incredible actor. And then I know how much
she was around the right age.
Right age, and she can really sink into a character. Very gracious, loves the crew, loves the form, loves the art, everything about it. And she was just magic. እዚህ ድረስ መጥተን ያንን የሚያክል ፕሮዳክሽን ከሰራን there's gotta be a way that we give a chance to the next young Zeresenays that come after me.
Before we get out of Sweetness in the Belly, I want us to look at a scene that you directed. Okay?
Yeah.
That's okay. And
yeah.
What you went through directing this scene, what was going through your mind, and probably what was going through the actor's mind. So, Z, just tell us what this scene is about, and then we'll come back.
You will sit in the back, me and your sister. Your mother must ride in campus.
I can't even look at you. It's time.
Inshallah, we shall see each other again, my sister.
Inshallah.
Wow. Z. Talk to us about that scene, my God.
In part, your Sweetness Tariq, it's like I said earlier, like it's a love story set during the revolution.
Right.
But then the more when Lily, Dakota Fanning's character, went to sent back to England,
Sure.
she becomes friend with another Ethiopian, Amina, played by Wami Musaku, and their sisterhood, their friendship became the other focal point, right? So on this scene that Amina has been writing, been looking for her husband, and her husband made it to Toronto. No, not in Toronto. Somewhere in Canada, I think. And he finally sends her. He finds her, and then he comes to England to take her with him. And the scene is their last goodbye. So they both realize here that this is going to be the last time that they're going to have this ritual. And, you know, this is going to be, you know, you're not going to see each other from now on. This is going to be the last time that you're going to be with each other. So as friends, you're going to be taking some part of you with you. What would you feel if this was the last time that this friendship is gonna, you know, this friendship exists, and the uncertainty of meeting each other again. Lily's part is more sadder than Amina's part to me, because Lily is going to lose a community that Amina brought with her. You know what I mean? And so I remember talking with the DP, and as they're talking, the camera would move forward very slowly. First, we are observers from far away, and by the end of the scene, we are there with them, and to feel the heaviness in their hearts.
You've, in fact, from the Z and Mehari camp, if I may put it that way, a lot of filmmakers have come out of that. A lot of writers, a lot of directors that are talented. You guys are like an incubation of like ideas, manamna, and you love that. I know that Mehari, your wife, loves that. She loves the fact that kids came out from her camp.
So she's the co-founder of Realness Institute, and Realness Institute is set in Cape Town, South Africa, and its mission is to basically nurture the next generation of filmmakers from Africa that are going to be talking about African stories.
Being African, the most interesting thing is everyone's always overlooked us.
If we're able to do or tell African stories with African voices, you allow other people the opportunity to enrich their own lives.
The Netflix Episodic Lab is a 3-month intensive workshop period where 6 writers get the opportunity to work closely together to develop their own unique ideas.
It's an amazing opportunity, I think, to leverage young filmmakers or young storytellers across Africa and allow them to tell their stories.
The opportunity to participate in this initiative means expressing African perspectives to an international audience.
Fine. I just want to ask your family, your parents, your mom, your dad. Do they understand what you're doing? Are they proud? Like you're.
You know, they. Well, my mom is so proud of me because she loves Ghana television, and I was a part of Ghana television. You know what I mean? So,
you're one of the founders of Ghana.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that like, being part of Ghana? And at that time, Ghana was a revolution.
Right.
Right. It changed so many things, and you were part of it. You're head of production. You were head of almost everything creative.
Right.
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 Talk to us about Kana, how it came, and, you know...
It's a dream. It was, you know, I was writing a script to make my second film, and then, again, I was approached by Elias Schultz, and he told me about this idea that they have. And I was approached before that by other people for a different thing, but so this time around, you know, it actually, you know, got my attention because Elias had seen my film, you know, he loved it, and then, you know, we met in Europe, and then he came to San Francisco when I was showing the initial idea of this whole, you know, let's do a television company. I think television was Addis Alamayo. So Addis Alamayo, good friends with Elias. And then between them, they're like, okay, so we got Nas, you know, and then, you know, who's the other guy that's gonna, so.
You guys created a dream team.
Oh, absolutely.
You really did.
Absolutely, we did. Yeah.
Not because you're my boy, but I know you, then you brought in, and I know Nas, and then you brought in Brooke, and, you know, it was becoming this
because we all had different talents, you know what I mean? But we also knew how to work with each other.
Right.
And then we also were hungry, you know what I mean? Yes. And also understood. You know, the main idea of the whole thing is like, why is there 52% of Ethiopian viewers watching a television channel like Arabsat and Nilesat in the language that they don't understand?
Let's do our
Mind you,
thing.
52% had access to something that they don't understand. We had different talent that I didn't have. Nas had a talent that I didn't have. Addis Alamayo and Elias, all different, right? So I was general manager, head of production, head of content, right? That's my strength. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, everybody had their thing. So my job was to recruit and train and write and produce and all of that stuff, right? So because we're also in love with stories, we wanted to do that. So the big difference was what we thought we were going to do majority Ethiopian content when we started. But it didn't happen that way because we didn't have enough money to do it. We were not going to generate enough money to pay it back. The infrastructure was not set. So we started dubbing.
You bought content.
We bought content. So, and then by doing that, we brought the audience closer to an international audience at the same time watching the same thing. የኛ ስራ እኛ ለተመልካቹ ተገዢ ነን. We're not the bosses. We're not putting something there and saying that, watch that. No. እኛ, when we did survey, we brought a company from France, and then we did 10 city research surveys. And then we basically went and asked every single person that we meet, would you watch something from this country if it was Bamarinya? You know, some of it was scary. Like, not a lot of people had confidence in somebody like us doing something like that. They didn't think that it was going to be that appealing to them. We're similar in a lot of ways with Turkish culture, South Korean culture, even Indian culture.
How long were you part of that?
I was part of Ghana for 8 years.
And then you built it, በጣም አሳደጋችሁት, and then you guys decided to sell? Or like,
no, absolutely. It was the opportunity. One of the biggest things that you do in a business, by the way, it was a business too, you know what I mean? And to be able to grow a business and to be able to sell it was a big success.
Love that. Z, so we've talked about difference, we've talked about sweetness in the belly, and we've talked about your previous short films and stuff like that. What's next for Z? Like, what's going on? What are you planning?
I think I mentioned it earlier. I think the body of work.
The body of work, yeah.
What I want to do, I'm not only interested in a certain genre. I want to see if I can do a comedy, if I could do a war film, you know. But I know that I'm a filmmaker and that's all I want to do. Right?
Can I ask you what kind of filmmaker? Do you think, can you tell comedy? Can you tell, like, what is the strength? Like, I've seen drama and that is your strength.
Right. I think, you know what it is? I'm going to tell you this. I love comedy.
But I've never seen you. I know you. I've never seen a comedy from you.
No, I don't know. My wife always tells like, oh, you're like, your light story is like a homicide, whatever, you know.
You know, because you are a very light-hearted guy too. You love to laugh, and you're a fun guy.
I don't know why I'm so interested in tragedy. Like I get, you know, I get it. I get the genre. I get the characters. You know, and I don't know if I have a certain type of film that I want to make, but I want to make stories, specifically human stories, like not a film about an event, but a film about someone.
I think you touched upon this earlier, but you're working on a script right now.
Right.
Right. And it's a story of a coming of age story.
Right.
And it touches upon your story, your own story, growing up in Addis before you went to the U.S.
Yeah.
And I know it's a project that's close to your heart.
Yeah, it is.
What is that story about? And
like you said, it's a coming of age story about a young kid who gets to tell a story about his world, which is his neighborhood.
It takes place
in one neighborhood.
In one neighborhood.
In one neighborhood, and that's what the story is about. So basically, you relieve a young boy's dream. I think the best way to describe it is, you know, somebody understanding destiny and a life that was chose for you, or circumstances forcing you to be far away from what you know you loved and what you always thought that you would be. And it's loosely based on, you know, my life story, but it was more about, you know, a small tight-knit community in one neighborhood and their reaction to change, loss, and love and tragedy and everything.
So that's what you're working on.
That's what I'm working on. Yeah.
Z, thank you for being in the Dink Mishit so much, and you know, I wish you luck in everything that you do.
Thank you.
And I know we're gonna work together. Thank you
for real.
All right, my man. Have a seat. So guys, thank you for tuning in. And this is the show that we bring the most dynamic personalities that are doing very unique things to you. At Dink Mishit, we have a drink, we have fun. And that was my boy, Zeresenay Mehari. And watch out for things that he's about to do, because this guy, do not count him out. He's about to do some crazy things. Trust me. Anyway, ደህና ደሩ። እናመሰግናለን። ቻው